By now, you should have find your voice because if you didn't watch the writing 101, you don't know how to find your voice. Or maybe you know how to find your voice. That's good for you. So if you find your voice, then you are ready to write. First of all, I told you before, you should have a story. After getting an idea, you should have a story which enables you pass the days that you want to write. And if you don't have any story, then you stuck. Have you heard about writer block? If you don't have a story, you're stuck on a white page. You cannot go forward. And because you should believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, again, you are stuck. You cannot move forward. Every one of us have ups and downs. If you don't believe in yourself, then probably you quit your writing. And because I told you, you have to be organized, you have to set things in order, then you have to follow a structure. Every story have a start, middle, and end, but novel has more than this. Novel has different characters, location, probably world building. There is another kind of world that it has to work on it. It's complicated. So there is eight step which invented by Phillips and Hanley. You should ask questions. And there is a lot of questionnaires on internet. You can find the questionnaire online because you have to know, so have to know what is character. When you create, you are creating a character. When you create a character, you should have good idea about that character. Who he is. You have to write a backstory. You want to start your story from somewhere, but you should know background of the character. You should know where he or she was born, how old is she, what kind of family does he have, and a lot of question you have to ask question all the time about your character. And when you establish your character, then you go to outline. I will talk about the outline in another video, but right now, you know that you have to follow on a structure. The different question you can ask is, what is the purpose of character? Every character should have a purpose. Maybe in real life, somebody doesn't have a purpose, and it's totally okay. But if you don't put a purpose for your character, it's so boring. Nobody going to read that book. So character should have a purpose. From the first page of the story, the character should have a purpose. And maybe this purpose change over the time in your book, doesn't matter. But he or she should have a purpose. Second one is, what is the consequence of failure of main character? You have a main character, of course, and that one has a purpose. And other characters have purpose also, but you should know that he or she wants to get something or reach somewhere, whatever purpose is. What is the consequence of failure? For example, he wants to go to the promised land, but there is no promised land. So what? What is the consequence of that? When you go to the desert, always you see some water, but there is no actual water there. So it's something like this. Maybe it's just an example. A story could be anything. But I'm talking about consequences. You have to know what is the consequences if your character doesn't get what he wants. Third one, what tools can character use to reach his goal? When you ask question about your character, you have to think about what talent does he have. Is she a supergirl, for example? Or what kind of power does he have? He has a big circle of friends that they can use them. What kind of tools or equipment or talent or power does he have? The next one is what are the obstacles or dangers of the way? Because he wants to reach a goal. What is his purpose? There is always roadblock. There is always obstacles on the way. So you have to think about that. 5. What cost should he or she pay on the way of getting goals? For sure. In every movie you see, in order to progress, in order to get the purpose, you have to sacrifice something. Maybe you sacrifice yourself, maybe you sacrifice your relationship. You have to go and leave all your loved one behind, or the other things. Anyway, you have to pay the price for what you want. In real life is like this. And in fiction should be like this. That in order to get something, you have to lose something. Number 6, what rewards he or she can get on the way. If all the time failure, 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 again is so boring, the book will be so boring. There should be some setback. There should be some reward on the way before getting to the end of the book, in the middle of the book, in the journey. There should be some setback and there should be some reward. You have to think about that. Number 7 is what chain of event should happen that main character achieve the goal. I told you, every story has beginning, middle, and end. You have to think through the story before start writing. What's going to happen in the middle? You have to rough image of what you want to write in the middle, what's going to happen in the middle. And number 8, what are prerequisites of achieving a goal? It's the last one. It's very important. You ask yourself what tool he or she has. In order to reach that purpose, in order to be successful, he or she should have something. When you want to go to study something, you have some prerequisites. If you want to go to travel, if you want to go to a trip, to go vacation, there are some prerequisites. If you don't have a passport, you cannot go to other countries. That is prerequisites. You have to apply for passport. Everything is like this. When you want to achieve a goal, in order to reach your purpose, you have to have something. There are some prerequisites. Resolution and conflict that ups and downs, as failure, setbacks, and reward should be done in artistic ways that it's interesting for the reader to follow the story. And in the next video, I will talk about outlines and chapters.